Hello. It's the 23rd of May, 2025. I haven't done a video in a few weeks. The reason being is a lot of the ones that I have right now are about people passing away, and I really don't like those. I, yes, I've got a few of those stories too, but I'm not going to do very many of them. But this one is kind of unique, and the person I know that made this video possible, part of it, asked me if I could do it too. So, in 2011, I've known this person that I'm going to do the reading on, and I did it in November, for about a year. So in 2011, this young lady's in the adult entertainment industry. She's turning 20. She's turned 21. Can't remember her birthday right now. That's not important. But she's getting a reading from me. She heard all about me, and I'm with her a lot of times and stuff. We became friends, and she got the reading done, and she thought it was crazy amazing and stuff like that, and how many things I was correct about her past. And I told her how many things I'm correct about your past is how many things I'm going to be correct about your future. And she thought that was amazing. Okay, so the young lady, I told her, she says, your mom and dad separated when you were 15 years old, and you're living with your father. And I told her also that you and your mother are not getting along at the present time. But anyway, she wanted me to do a reading on her friend, which is a stewardess and which you would consider her second mother. And I said, yes, I will. And time went by as these situations were happening. I'm busy too in my life and this and that. So the reading that I do on her friend, the stewardess, she's in her late 40s, and she considers her a second mother. I've said that before, I know. So it's important for me to do this reading for her friend because she loves her. So I do so. And I do the reading, I get the past right, and the future is different. I see that she's not feeling good, sick, ill. And I tell her this, I say, I don't like to give bad news. I hate bad news. And she goes, don't worry, I have cancer. I'm already in chemo. That's the reason she wanted you to do the reading to see how long I live. And I said, listen, I don't do that because I did that when I was in Italy, and that's death thing. I'm not doing that. I just don't want to do that. I won't look at it. I won't see it. I don't know, but you are ill. Anyway, so it goes on, and she's doing chemo. So the young lady that's asked me to do the reading for the stewardess, the 21-year-old, asked me if I could start driving her to the hospital. And I said, yes, I can. I will do it, no charges, no donations, no nothing. Don't give me anything. I'm doing it because I want to do it. I'm doing it for, I like to do stuff that's good. And I said, let me do this for you guys. And so I did. So I would drive her and her friend to the hospital and back and stuff like that. And when I do readings, I also give 3 items. I'll give the person a candle, a piece of clothing, and a coin. Candle represents you light it, and you wait for a sign or something, and you want contact from someone passed away or even here, and then the candle will flicker usually, and you'll get your message. And then if it doesn't flicker within 10 to 15 seconds, just blow it out because you're going to waste the candle. But anyway, then the piece of clothing is for, shelter. It's either the clothing that I give the people's got to be made out of silk, satin, or cotton, and it's for protection from the elements. And then the third one is the coin. The coin is unique. You can make a wish on it, and you got to make the wish within the year, and then you also got to give it to someone you love. And this will work to make the wish come true as well. And then also the coin has to be made out of silver, or it can be made half silver, half other metals. I use the 1968 coin and the 1967. If the person chooses the 67, that means it's 50-50 on their situations that they're undecisive. If they pick the 67, that means their goals are set for decisiveness and going forward with whatever they want in life. So, anyway, as she's going to the hospital, the cancer started to progress. The young lady, the stewardess. And I'm watching this, and as she's getting weaker, losing her hair, this and that only took about a month and a half. So did the reading in January. By Valentine's Day, she was already wearing a wig and in a wheelchair. And they're saying she's not going to make it to the spring. So I'm like driving them, pretty sad. I'm trying my best to keep everybody's spirits up and everything. It is very difficult. And they both cried a lot. And I'm still trying. So anyway, what happened in the end of February was the 21-year-old that's in the adult entertainment industry said to me, she goes, "Can I make a wish that she lives longer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can do that. That's an unselfish wish. That's really good, actually. I think that's the best way to use wishes sometimes." She's not the young lady that's in the adult entertainment industry is not making a wish for herself. She's making a wish for her friend, the stewardess. And I said, "Yeah, that's a really good idea." I said, "Who are you going to give it to?" "I'm going to give it to my dad, the coin, after I make the wish." I says, "You got to be a little bit more specific about how long you want her to live." And she said to me, she goes, "Well, I was talking to her, and she says if she could just see a spring, a summer, a fall, and another winter, she'd be happy." I said, "That's what I want." I said, "Okay, all right, that's a good wish." And she asked if telling people would make it bad or good, or I said, "No, you can tell anybody your wish. It doesn't matter. Just say it out loud if you like. Keep it to yourself. It's your wish." That's what she did. Okay. The unique part about this situation is not just that wish. Is that, one of the times when I'm driving them to the hospital, the young lady, the 21-year-old, is going to get the wheelchair at the hospital to bring the stewardess girl in. And by the way, she has a son and a daughter as well, the stewardess girl. And she considers the 21-year-old her daughter as well. So she goes and gets the wheelchair, and then the stewardess girl can talk to me. And she says to me, she goes, "Can I make a wish for another person?" And I said, "Yeah, you can. Of course you can." And right away, I was thinking of the other girl that made a wish for her. And I said, "Who do you want to make this wish for?" She goes, "I want to make this wish for this person in the adult entertainment industry. That's my second daughter. That's, coming with me to the hospital and around me constantly. And she's been around me ever since she was a child. I wish that she gets out of the adult entertainment industry." I'm like, wow, holy moly, this is wild. This person wishes for this person wishes for that person. I said, "You could have made a wish to live longer yourself." She goes, No, I wish for that. I wish for her to get out of the adult entertainment industry. I thought, wow, how's this going to work? They're giving her less than 2 weeks to live. Okay. Even I don't believe in my own stuff or whatever I do sometimes. I don't get it. But anyway, 2 weeks go by. It's another 2 weeks before spring. And the 2 weeks that went by, she gets in the car, because they don't keep you there, right? Unless you're going to pass away or something in the next 3 or 4 days. That's when they usually keep you. But they let you go home and didn't bring you back. And I know that because I would pick her up a day, that she'd stay there, and then pick her up the next day. And so the most they'd stay is a day, or 2 sometimes. She gets in the car, and they're both ecstatically happy, which I don't know why, because they didn't tell me. And then they said to me, her cancer went into remission. I go, they said she was going to be passed away. You guys all thought you were going to die in 2 weeks. She goes, "No, I get to live." I laughed. Because living is good and it's exciting, and I would be cheerful of it. But anyway, I thought about the 2 wishes that they made. And I asked the stewardess lady, who did you give your coin to? And she gave it to her real daughter. And I said, that's still good. And then in the car, I was talking to them. And I said, do you realize what you 2 did? And either one didn't know they made a wish for each other. And when I realized that, I said, I don't want to jinx this. Like, realistically, you know what I mean? Like, all good things, right? But I have a hard time keeping things to myself. That's the truth. But I waited at least 3 or 4 months. Anyway, so she makes it to the spring. She makes it to the summer. She makes it to the fall. Christmas time, I think, is the time I told her. I told the stewardess first. I said, listen, do you know what your friend wished for? You know, the one that, you introduced me to you, and I did, She wished for you to make it to this time. She goes to me, she goes, really? I go, yeah. I go, she didn't tell you that wish? She goes, no, she didn't. I said, not only that, you wished for her to get out of the business. Did you, the adult entertainment business, did you tell her you wished for that? She goes, no, I didn't tell her that. And I go, wow. I said, will you do me a favor and not tell her you wished for that? And I won't tell her what you did? She goes, yeah, that would be greatly appreciated, because this sounds pretty cool. I said, yeah, it does, doesn't it? Let's see what happens. And she goes, okay. So the spring comes. So that was in 2011, I did the reading on the 21-year-old. And then 2012, I did the reading on the stewardess. We get all the way around to 2012 to 2013. So 2013, in the winter, everything was going really well, but she was still in the business. And then in the spring of 2013, she decided to get out for some reason. They didn't tell each other about their wishes. She only told me, and she knows what she wished for, and she knows what she wished for. But the one in the adult entertainment industry does not know that she wished for her. And sure enough, she got out of the business in the spring, and she also got a job full-time and her own place. She was ecstatically happy that she was able to do this. Mind you, she didn't live very far away from her father. She got an apartment close to her father and close to the stewardess person. It was kind of funny, but I thought it was still great. It was still fantastic. And sure enough, the other one made it to the summer. I know I say made it because she did pass away. Her cancer came back. She told me, she goes, I got my wish. She's out of the business. She's been out of it for 3 or 4 months. I think she's secure. And her cancer came back with a vengeance. And it took her before the fall of 2013. That's kind of the reason I didn't want to say this story, because I was hoping she lived another 50 years. Well, that's my story for today. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye. It's Birdy signing out.